BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions here, and haven't done a video that's not a short in quite some time, huh? This time, I wanted to make an interesting challenge and talk about the Beyblade anime. Every series of Beyblade has at least a team of 3 to 4 or more people competing in a tournament together. There's the Blade Breakers, the Beigoma Bay Club, and now Persona. But for the Metal Saga, I had a fun challenge, replacing almost every member of Gingka's team in Metal Masters. Now, before I begin, I know the comments I'm going to get on this video, so let me address them there. No, this is not me saying that I think the choices we got don't make sense. In every Beyblade saga, we've gotten new protagonists before. Hillary and later Daichi, Free, Kuza, and Cisco, and now Tenka and X. And I have defended Masamune before in the shorts. I also think Tsubasa and Yu were great choices given their rivalry, and both of them being anti-heroes and anti-villains to the cast in Season 1 respectively. So the question becomes, what other cast in Beyblade would make great choices if there was a world where Tsubasa and Yu never joined the team, and Masamune didn't exist as a character? So this restricts my choices to everyone else in Season 1. My goal is also to pick characters who would fit their roles and also have a similar story or arc, but with their own characterization at the forefront. Keep in mind, this is all just for fun, but I do have a few stipulations. Madoka is not being replaced. Outside of maybe Ryo, I don't see any other mechanic working as the Beyblade medic in the series, but that also means I need a replacement for Ryuga's role, so we are going to leave a total of 4 choices. Let's start with Masamune's replacement. And if there's one character everyone wanted to see more of after Season 1, it's Sora. For the Japanese selection tournament, he actually got 7th place, making it only 1 place behind Kensa. And the only people to pass him were Kensa, Masamune, Kyoya, Tsubasa, Yu, and Benkei. So it's clear he's not weak at all. And given that Masamune is basically the Lancer to Gingka's leader, it'd only be fitting Sora Cyber Pegasus would be about equal to Gingka. And it would give Sora an opportunity to master Cyber's power throughout the tournaments. While his ego couldn't get in the way as much as Masamune's does, his insecurities and growth to learn and stand on the same stage as his idol Gingka would probably be able to rival Masamune's fights and drive that he did throughout most of Metal Masters. Then there's Tsubasa's replacement, and I needed someone with experience fighting the Dark Nebula, who's well-meaning and mature, even if they're a little bit stoic, and has also been dealt with a major blow leading them susceptible to the Dark Power. And since Kyoyo was with Wildfang, that kind of leaves the Metal Saga's robbed queen, Hikaru Hasuma. Hikaru had one of the most brutal defeats in the franchise that scarred her so hard she quit blading. And a lot of fans felt that she got underused, especially with her storyline about becoming a strong blader. Now, there is an argument to be had about Hikaru's fate actually being fitting because it was her mother's dream that she inherited, and only after choosing to work with the WBBA did she finally become a happier person, which I will tackle in the future one day. But for this hypothetical, her being on the team would actually help her out in this regard. The Dark Power feeds off people's emotions and fears, so having Hikaru confront the Dark Power by its dark form resembling Hikaru's mother throughout the tournament would actually allow her to combat and engage with the realization throughout the story. It also helps that Tsubasa's opponents also offer a good challenge to her blading style. Chiyun has her drive and passion, but with more of a martial arts focus. She and Benkei never had the chance to go directly against one of each other outside of the survival battle. And Demure's eyes are so sharp that he would be able to get or see through her clones. Then there's Wales and Sophie, which would provide a water-focused challenge that would actually give her a new special move to actually use more frequently, especially since in that tag battle, Tsubasa got a new special move that was able to overpower Grandicalion. And Argos works really well since it's based off the Karina constellation, a perfect attack type for the Water Bearer. That way, Hikaru can transition into a support role with the WBBA like Tsubasa does in Fury, since she's proven to the world that she's a top-tier blader, even if Damien takes her out like he did Tsubasa and Yu. It would also be really funny if Aquarius ends up dousing Peacock's feathers like Dracovish did against Altaria on Pokemon Journeys towards the end of Metal Masters to replace Tsubasa fighting Jack. But yeah, I think Hikaru would actually be a good fit for Tsubasa if Tsubasa was not in this position. We also need a replacement for Yu, and this one was hard. Phoenix would be a good fit because I put Hikaru on the team, Benkei is on another team, and Hyoya's gimmick kinda got overshadowed and overpowered, but I'll go with Kensa for this choice. Out of all the remaining bladers, he's got the most chemistry with the team. Him and Hikaru actually have a pretty friendly rivalry. Considering his role in Fury, he'd probably make the most sense as a substitute in Yu's position, and it would give the writers an excuse to make another special move for him that he desperately needed and shouldn't have waited until Fury for him to get. Seriously. While he wouldn't be a one-for-one comparison to Yu, each of his parallels would have some connection. Against Alexei, he would have to get creative and have to use Flame Claw creatively or get through the wave distortions. Against Demure and Benkei and Wild Fang, he would most likely have a strategy with Hikaru to use her waves. To have Sagittario use the moment to get to Benkei, only for Demure Scorpio to turn out to ride Aquario's waves and figure out the clones from the fake. Hikaru would go berserk against Kensa's wishes. Then against Excalibur, Kensa would use a new special move to use the flames in his claw to fire more arrows to weaken Grand Decalion, which would have motivated Hikaru to overcome the dark power and gain a new special move like Tsubasa did. It would also make what happens against Team Garcias more impactful since he had grown so much in the tournament, and on his chance to win a 1v1 on his own after Lavushka, it gets taken from him. Plus, it would also fit with what happens in the main storyline since he fights the Garcias with Wang Huzhong and Benkei after the tournament is over. And finally, we need a Ryuga replacement. Someone who can use dark moves, but also return in Season 2, using their experience to help Gingka and Hikaru out. And since Doji should be nearly dead working with the Nemesis Bladers, that would mean obviously my only choice is Reiji. Yeah, this one was no-brainer. He never shows up outside of cameos, and it would make sense if he worked on himself to become stronger, which would explain his absence in Metal Masters and Fury. He was able to body Yu, and even if Ryuga isn't on the team, I could see Reiji going to both Hikaru and Gingka advice, and he swayed to support the others in Ryuga's place. He would either help Hikaru embrace the darkness, surpass it, or have her accept the fact that she does have those elements in her life that she needs to fix and improve. Plus, while he and Kensa doesn't exactly have the most positive relationship, Kensa would be positively surprised to see him actually helping them out, since Yu intentionally never really has beef with any of the Dark Nebula Bladers until they actually tried to fight him. And that's our team. Gingka, Madoka, Sora as a replacement for Masamune, Hikaru as a replacement for Tsubasa, Kensa as a replacement for Yu, and Reiji. This team would be freaking interesting or hilarious, and to be honest, I can kind of see it working in a weird sense. Gingka would still be the team leader and have his character arcs take on the strongest ace bladers of each team, save for Argo. Sora would have more of a friendly rivalry than Masamune, but he still have his confidence and drive to master Cyber well enough to fight Chaoshin. Nile, Klaus, and probably would do better against Celine than Masamune did. The only real problem is with Team Dungeon, but we could probably retcon that he was ultimately friends with them in the past, but split off with them when he found Cyber. Hikaru would be interesting because while she is skilled, the writers would probably have to boost her confidence and actually have her try out new special moves, since she was stuck with one for most of Masters. Then there's Kenta. Making him the substitute would fit because he's far from weak, but he always struggles with the big tier bladers with more skill and power. So the experience would make it a nice transition into Fury. Even though he won with his team, he knows that he could be performing a lot better. As for Reiji, he was underused. There was a lot we still don't know about him, so his return would be interesting. Plus, we need Madoka because outside of Rio, she's really the only character in Japan that's the most equipped to handling Beyblades. But let me know what you think of my choices, who you would include, and this is BIP, signing off.